All right, so let me post this link. Yo, what up, guys? Welcome back. Sorry, YouTube is being a massive piece of shit. You'd think if your company with billions and billions of dollars, you could come up with basic software that would make shit work. All right, let me just adjust the cam. Yo, can one of you guys do me a favor? Can you copy this link and post it in the other chat so everyone can get here? Let me try to do it myself as well. What's up? Welcome back, everybody. Let's get the other guys. Oh my god. Hopefully now I can't even post another one. So hopefully everyone finds the other chat. Sorry, chat is closed. You gotta be fucking kidding me. It's still late now, man. Apparently, I just tried posting the. Oh, you were guide to work zero. That's good. All right, so let's just give it like 2-3 minutes for everyone else to pop on. Let me make sure it shows up on the main YouTube on the Playing with Fire page. All right. Okay, my internet is frozen now. There we go. Oh, there we go. All right, so we'll just. I feel bad for the people who are in the other one. They're not going to be able to find this one. In the future, we're going to have to make sure YouTube stops being less of a piece of shit. All right, we'll just get rolling with the questions, and then we'll just go from there. So, hey Alex, what is the best text to send when a girl is canceling last minute? I think it comes down to the reason why she's canceling. So I think the first step is to figure out why. For example, if she's canceling because her fucking grandma got hit by a car, or she has like massive diarrhea or something like that, like there's really not going to be a text that's going to win her over, unfortunately. I wish there was. So the first is going to be to figure out the why of the canceling. Is she canceling because she has a legit emergency? Like maybe she got sick, someone in her family got sick, whatever. Is she canceling because she just has some kind of concern or objection? She's getting cold feet. She thinks that you want just one night stand. She thinks that you might be a catfish, whatever. She might have some concern that popped up last minute. Or is she canceling simply because she just feels lazy? Like there's no real concern or objection. She doesn't have that strong motivation to go. So it's going to be figuring out why exactly she's canceling. Which one of those three things is causing her. There could be other reasons as well, categories of reasons. Figure out what exactly is going on here, and then you would address each one separately. For example, if she has a legitimate reason why she's canceling, trying to push past that is not going to really do much. You have to at that point, reschedule with her. Like if she's like, oh, I feel really sick. You can't be like, stop being a bitch and come over. You have to be like, okay, cool. If she doesn't answer concern objection, you got to answer the concern objection. And if it's a motivation thing or something like that, that was probably the trickiest one. You have to figure out exactly where it's coming from, and you have to kind of sweeten the deal for her. Like, come on, stop being lazy. I'll throw you one of my famous massages since you're being such a champ and driving 25 minutes across town or something like that. So it would just really come down to the exact reason why she's canceling. All right, if they refresh the channel feed, this light will pull. Okay, all right, that's good. Alex, could you give some basic methods to control the frame in a text interaction? Um, yeah, I think the best way to do that would be to just go through an example. So let's pop open a recent one. So this was a date I had last night. All right, so this girl tried to cancel on me because of the Corona thing, which has been happening here and there. So we had made plans a few nights ago, and then she tried. So my frame was, hey, like, yes, Corona sucks, but I don't have Corona, you don't have Corona. Like, it's okay, we can have a drink. It's on my romantic balcony. It's not gonna be a big deal. And then she sent me this text. They're saying a teenager died last night in Miami from coronavirus. I don't know. I don't think I should be with you, with anyone. I think we're going to have to wait on this one, at least until this clears up with the coronavirus. I hope you're not mad. I understand the situation we're in. I think it's for her own, her English wasn't the best. I think it's for her own good. I'm just taking care of our health. So my first attempt was try to handle this with a little humor, and actually didn't work. So I said, don't worry, I stocked up on Purell and have a strong immune system. You're in good sanitized hands. And she just didn't respond to that. So I waited because I didn't want to seem like needy. So I waited like a solid day. And then the next day I texted her, if you're too nervous, I'd understand. So this is where the frame battle begins. So she says, yes, the already said in the news is that Amber Alert, no one is allowed to be outdoors. Now, thank you for understanding. I hope you're being safe and careful. Please, I still do really want to meet you. It's just her English here. So her frame was, hey, it's not a good idea for us to meet. My frame is that it's a good idea for us to meet. So I responded with this. So I can't just completely, like, if our frames are really like kind of the opposite of each other. So I can't take her from here to here in one text. So I have to kind of nudge her along and make her question her own frame. So I sent her a picture of, I don't know if you guys can see it, but basically it's a picture of a bunch of cars and stuff because I was actually driving when she sent me that. And I said, well, I see plenty of people walking, jogging, and enjoying the day. Okay? She says, they're crazy. They should not be doing that. You're at risk, and you're putting other people at risk. I would never going to end this virus that's going on. Right? So her frame is, hey, this is a bad idea. We should not meet. Again, still the same frame. So I say, you watch a lot of news, I assume. She says, well, of course, I do. So I do a little bit of a cold read, but it's an educated guess because I know that based on what she's saying, she must be watching a shitload of fucking news and it's scaring the shit out of her. So she says, well, of course, I do. How would I know what's going on with the world? Something wrong with that. Educate myself to update with everything that's going on in our lives. So here the frame battle really gets underway. So I say, this is a little bit of a white lie, but it's based on truth. I say, I have several friends who actually work in media. News essentially makes money by scaring the shit out of people, so they share it with their friends. The reality is often not nearly as bad as the news makes you think it is. Okay? So I'm trying to kind of reframe her here. She says, oh, really? That's crazy. And what is it that you do for a living? How come you have friends in the medical field? I say, I have a business that makes me network with a lot of different people. It's pretty true. She says, okay, nice. And what kind of business is that? So we kind of went a little sideways here. She's now starting to question her frame, but she's just like she wants reassurance basically. She's like, okay, maybe I was a little wrong. Yeah, it does seem right that news would try to scare the shit out of me. That kind of makes sense. But like, let me make sure this guy's not just bullshitting me. So what kind of business is that? We help men have better sex and dating lives. Really very interesting job. How do you guys do that? If you don't mind me asking, I'll tell you all about it over that bottle of wine. So here I go for the soft close again. She says, you're not trying to get me drunk, right? I say, no, I like my woman conscious. She says, good. I say, you feeling spontaneous tonight? She says, I came to help my mom out. How about tomorrow night? She sends me a sexy picture. And then from there, it was just mainly logistics, a little bit of chit chat. And then tomorrow night was yesterday, then we hung out. So that's basically, that's a good example of like a frame battle. Basically, my frame was that, hey, it's okay for us to hang out. It's not a big deal. But I'm not going to, the wrong approach would be just to be like fucking pushing that down her throat. Like, come on, stop being a wimp. Let's go, like pushing down her throat. Instead, I kind of make her question her own assumptions and come to the same conclusion as me. So that's a better way of going about it. All right. So what is the dating apps you find that gives you the most leads? And also, how do you know what premium services to use and not when spending money on apps? Okay. So right now, to be honest, Bumble is where I get most of my leads. I would say Bumble. Hinge would be second place. Tinder would be third place. Yeah, I would say those three. I really don't fuck around with too many other dating apps at the moment. I used to have like Coffee Meets Bagel, J Swipe, and all of that, but I just find that I have more than enough leads from these three. that I don't really need another app. If I for example, didn't have enough leads coming in from these three, the other two that I would try would be JSwipe and Inner Circle, because I've tried those in the past and they're pretty not bad. In terms of where to use premium, depends on the app. So for Tinder, I think that you kind of need to get premium because the free version of Tinder, like you just get limited swipes. It's just better. Like if I'm Tinder Gold, all my matches are laid out for me. I check it twice a day, pick the ones that are hot, whatever. So for me, the spending that money is worth the extreme convenience. Bumble, I have the Bumble Premium, and Hinge, I have the free version because I think for Hinge you don't really need the premium version. Because the way Hinge works is they'll tell you every time. It's like Hinge is basically like if you've never tried, it's like their basic version is almost like Tinder Gold in the sense they'll tell you who actually liked you. So you don't really need to pay for the premium with Hinge. Alrighty, so what do we got here? Oh shit, the questions are piling up. All right, coronavirus concerns not working and girls bailing. So yeah, I don't know if you watched my coronavirus video. I talked about how there's three groups of girls. There's the group of girls who are just not going to meet up with anyone for any reasons. There's nothing you can do to change their mind. Like I've tried myself. What you saw before earlier was just an extreme example. It worked that time, but I've had very similar approach not work. So again, it's just going to come down to the girl and how strong her belief is that it's not safe for you to meet. If she, for example, just that's what her friends are doing, but she's not sure, then you're probably going to be able to convince her. If it's a girl who's just like fucking dead set on hiding in her apartment, you're not going to change her mind. But really, you just want to go down, check out the. I don't want to dedicate too much time to this one question because I could talk about it for like 20 minutes. But basically, check out the video I did on the corona concern in the forums. I just recently, 2 days ago, put in a LAR where I show you how to deal with it. It was an example of me dealing with the corona concern from a different girl. So check that out. That's like 4 examples right there. And the one I just read, I'm going to write it up tomorrow. So that'll be fast. So there are 5 examples. From there, you'll have enough stuff to just copy and paste as long as you modify it in a smart way, like the ones that I'm personally using. But again, I don't want to give you guys false expectations. There's going to be a good amount of girls who you're not going to be able to convince. They're just dead set on hiding in their apartment, which is super fucking lame if you ask me. But all right. Is it possible to successfully game when the girl cannot speak the language? I'm in Cambodia, where people usually don't speak even English. Local languages. Well, do you speak the local language? I mean, that's the big question. If you do speak what's called Khmer, I don't know how to pronounce that, but if you speak that, I would just talk Khmer. If you don't, then it's gonna be hard. You're gonna just have to run broken English game, where basically you're not going to want to do anything fancy. Just keep things super duper straightforward. If you want a good example of that, okay, so if you have my product, I have a bonus chapter that says about gaming in Latin America, and you'll see how my text game for that is super simple. If not, I have a few layer reports in Spanish, either on the web main side or the forum, so you kind of see what I'm, because I've never been to Cambodia, but I've been to fucking Colombia, más o menos. All right, so thanks. How about when you cancel on a girl last minute, what's the best text to send her? Ooh, that's a good question. I think a white lie is probably the best way to go, unfortunately. I really don't like to lie. I don't like to do it personally, but I think in those situations, you kind of have to do a white lie. So one that I've been using is, hey, my dog just got massive diarrhea. I have to take care of him. Do you mind if we reschedule? It's been working every single time. Like no girl is going to be like, no, let your dog shit himself to death, So that one's been pretty effective. That's the one I've personally been using. So if you have a dog, you can go with that. It'd be funny if you do that and you don't even have a dog. The girl's like, where's your dog? Oh, he died, If not, you can just say whatever, like you got a stomachache or something. But basically something in the medical direction, I would say, yeah, white lie is probably the way to go in this situation. Because if you just say, hey, I want to do work instead tonight or something like that, then for some girls, they might just completely write you off. Like, hey, I have a date with a hotter girl tonight. So, your tits are C's, hers are D's. So I'm going to go with her, but, you could be my backup. Like, it's just, it's going to turn a lot of girls off. Adding on Horace's question, how do you respond to a girl who flaked and didn't respond till the next day? And the excuse is pretty crappy. It would be situational. Depends on exactly what the excuse is. And depends on how many times she's flaked. If it's her first time flaking, I'd probably give her the benefit of the doubt and just reschedule. If it's like second or third time, I'd probably call her out. I have a video on doing call outs and all that stuff, so you can check that out. Or, the call out would depend on, the situation. But yeah, so it just really depends, I guess. To answer your question, it just depends on the situation. Oh yeah, Nitin said Google Translate. I concur with that. I don't know why I didn't even think of that. What are your ultimate inner game frames? I work in sales and can dial in that context. How do you bring that into game? Okay, so what are your ultimate inner game frames? I work in sales and can dial in. That's a very that's a question I could do a whole video on. To be honest, I'm just trying to think of a way to make it short. So I think what you're asking me is what are the most important inner game concept? Like, what are the most important inner game things that you can have? So I think that believing in yourself and I'll start like this. Not being ashamed of what you want. So I think this is a big issue. A lot of guys, they want to fuck a girl, but they're kind of ashamed about it. They've been conditioned by society to think, or whatever, whoever they grew up with, that, there's something wrong with wanting a lot of sex, that, you're somehow the bad guy, that, that like you shouldn't be having these desires. End of the day, it's so bullshit. It's hardwired in our DNA to want sex. As long as you're not like fucking like running around raping girls, then, there's nothing that you have to be ashamed of. So that would be one. Another one is just that you don't need the girl. So I think, again, a lot of guys, they fall into scarcity and neediness. So they're like, neediness comes from scarcity. So again, it's a frame of abundance. Like, yeah, you have value and you can get other girls. So if it doesn't work out with this girl, it's okay. And paradoxically, that will make you more at ease. It'll make you more relaxed. You won't be as like fucking, I don't know. Sometimes I see guys when they're gaming, they're like hanging on to the girl like every minute. They're like, if the girl will just gives them the mildest shit test, they just freak the fuck out. Versus if you have abundance and just like relax and lay back. Like, girl can shit test me, it doesn't really affect me that much. I'm just like, okay, that's cool. So I would say those two are pretty important. What else? I think a big one, since you're working sales, I think assuming the sale, in a sense. So you got to assume that if a girl's on a date with you, it's because at least part of her wants to fuck you, right? So I disagree with this whole thing that, you have to win a girl over. I think that you're winning the girl over just by being yourself and just a matter of communicating your value. It's not, so I get, so this getting kind of some technicalities here, but I don't believe in like trying to establish value. I'm more believe in communicating value. So for example, like when I say DHVs, like for example, like just relaxing in my jacuzzi, it's like a solid DHV, because I have a jacuzzi, it means I have money, it means, like I have free time, whatever. I'm basically like communicating that. I'm not trying to, it's a subtle difference, but I think it makes a difference. Like you're not trying to, win the girl over. You're just communicating the fact that you're already an awesome person. So I would say those two kind of like goes back to assuming the sale, assuming the girl's into you. Yeah, I mean, I could do a whole video on this question. I would probably be able to give you a better answer if I like reflect on it a little bit. I think those three are crucial. All right, let's see what else we got. Also, doing cold approach. Whoa. Okay, wow, I got back the fuck up on questions. Okay, so also doing. Why did this question disappear? One second. I think this question just disappeared. Okay, there we go. Also been doing cold approach for years, feeling some resistance to online thoughts. Okay, so why do you have to ask yourself, why do you feel the resistance? I think that I'll put it this way. I met numerous people in my life, like especially throughout, like since I got into the coaching side, of this industry, who were like, yeah, I'm die hard cold approach guy. And then I would be like, okay, well, this is the girl who I fucked last night. And they'd be like, what? I'd be like, yeah, it was pretty easy. I just texted her for like 20 minutes while I was taking a shit. Then she came straight to my place and we fucked. And it's really rare that after someone actually sees that firsthand, that they still remain a cold approach purist. I think the reason that some people feel that way is because that's what they were told by other pickup coaches, like, online is not a real game. Fuck that, If you're putting your dick in a girl's vagina, you're not paying for it. It's a real game, Like, my goal has never been to become like the best fucking pickup artist. My goal has always been to have a great sex life, meet cool girls and just like do cool shit. I want to fucking spend 24/7 running around and cold approaching girls. I don't give a fucking shit if there's someone who has better cold approach skills than me. Like, matters to me 0%. You know, my goal, okay, is this guy fucking more girls than me? If he is, then there's probably something I can learn from him. If not, if he's like, you know, most of the time they're not, as he's just they're just have good cold approach skills, but they're barely getting laid. Because the fact of the matter is, cold approach is pretty inefficient unless you have status or something like that. In which case you'd be doing like table status game. But anyway, so it's pretty inefficient. So, you know, why would I want to, you know, trade fucking results for, you know, looking cool on the internet or something like that? Just don't give a shit about that. So yeah, I think most of the time it comes down to something they were told by whatever, some coach, this or that. And the reason that coach was telling you this or that is because most likely for marketing reasons, because they have a boot camp, but they don't have an online game product. Like, I have an online game product. So obviously there's going to be that natural fucking, you know, like, I'm going to be leaning towards, you know, fucking online. But I was into online way before I ever thought I would ever create a product or do any of this. Like, I started with cold approach. I did it for a while, then discovered online. And I was like, okay, online is a bit more efficient. So, you know, I want to, you know, have free time that I can use for hanging out with my friends, you know, going out, fucking, you know, working on my business, working on my health. I don't want to be doing cold approach all the time. Fucking boring as hell. Like, why would the fuck would I want to do that? So yeah, that would be my very long-winded answer to your question. Okay. Hey bro, just want to. Okay. Oh, okay. I have a decent. Okay, there we go. Hey bro, just wanted to say thanks. Really benefit from your videos about sexting. What a game changer. For sure, man. Glad to hear. I appreciate that. I have decent picks. Highest academic pedigree. Pedigree. SMV makes it sound like something like I would say about my dog. My dog has a good pedigree. SMV is -3, not fit, but not chubby at all. I've used your tips on bio as well, but I'm not getting a single match on Tinder. So the easiest to. Okay, so you gotta understand. So your academic pedigree really does not matter at all. At least not in 2020, man. So yeah, I mean, it sucks because growing up, I was also told, hey, if you go to college, like, that's all you need. You got to get into good school, Alex, and then you'll be successful. And I got into a pretty good school. I went to Boston University, got good grades and shit, and graduated from college, $40,000 in debt, no money, no pussy. Like, the fuck? So, yeah, academic pedigree really doesn't matter when it comes to girls. The issue sounds like is that your SMV is negative. I mean, I know your SMV is not -3, but it sounds like it's pretty low. So you got to work on that. That's going to be the first and foremost thing you got to do. You can't have decent picks and have very low SMV because you're portraying a low sexual market value with good quality. You know what I mean? So, you know, really hit the gym. You said you're not chubby, but you're not fit either. Well, get fit. You know, really start hitting the gym. Yeah, like, make sure you got to set a reasonable goal. So make a goal that within a year you're going to look like a whole different person. Also, make sure your facial hair and your haircut is in order. Like, if you saw me 2 days ago, I looked a lot worse before, you know, I got trimmed up, before I got a haircut. Get into single digits body fat so all your facial features show. But also check out my video. I have a whole video on this. Check out the sexual market value video. Check out that video. Calculate your honest current sexual market value. It's not going to be -3. And then you'll have a good idea where you want to go from there. But yeah, you got to get your sexual market value up. That's really what it comes down to. You have one more option. Get rich and famous. So boost your SMV or get rich and famous. So those are like your two options, right? Unfortunately, I don't have an easier solution to you. There's not like a magic line or magic technique. There's no shortcuts with this stuff. You know what I mean? All right. So this is in the easiest city to get girls in India. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Okay. So that question's been answered. You know, it's the low sexual market value. Antonio's here. I usually say my friend locked me inside the flat and I don't have the keys. That could work. I still prefer the my dog is shitting himself to death excuse. Okay, how many Tinder or dating apps in general reset do you do? I get this question a lot. I do 0 resets. I find it kind of, no offense to anyone who does this, but I find it kind of ironic when people do constant resets. First of all, it can backfire because now Tinder, I've heard more than enough reports of Tinder shadow banning people who do that. Like, so you don't want to get shadow banned. Like, it's a fucking pain in the ass to get out of it. So yeah, 1 and 2, I just feel like it's a fucking waste of energy. Like, I haven't done a reset in ages. The only time I ever create a new profile is if my old profile gets banned for something. And now I've gotten pretty good at figuring out what kind of shit will get me banned, what kind of shit won't get me banned. I haven't been banned in like over a year. So yeah, I don't do resets. Post. Okay, so Nathan comment on that. I know it can be beneficial to sexualize, turn the girl on, but sometimes I worry about overpromising. Uh, yeah. Well, yeah, I kind of understand where you're coming from, because when you're saying like, yeah, don't worry, I'm gonna give you like 30 orgasms. Like for me, that's not really realistic. I'll give her like 3, 4, 5 orgasms, maybe 6 on a good day. On a good dick day. I certainly, I can't remember the last time I gave a girl 20 or 30 orgasms. But the way I've always seen it is like my sexual performance is still going to be better than 99% of guys. So I don't mind exaggerating. If you don't feel that applies to your sexual performance, then you got to fix that, right? So you want your fuck game to be on point. We have a whole thing about this in the product, but if not, I've read some free articles on this as well. So just kind of check those out. A book that I personally really like is called The Sex God Method, written by Daniel Gross. That one personally helped me a lot, so check that book out. But yeah, so just get your sex game on point, man. That would be, I think, the solution there. Like no girl is going to be like, oh, you promised me 12 orgasms, but you only gave me 9. Fuck you, man. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so I must never be able to text. This thing just keeps fucking with me, so I have to keep scrolling back to find the last question. Okay, what are your thoughts on texting girls who are on rotation? Some I've been texting every day, almost like girlfriends. Do you send a lot of regular comfort building text when she's in your life? I don't think about it that way. I don't think about it. Well, actually, yeah, maybe if I'm traveling and I forget, I'm like, oh, I should probably text this girl. It's been a few weeks. But I don't really think about it that way. Like right now, I have 3 girls who I'm hooking up with regularly. I don't think about it like, okay, I got to text her and her, whatever, because it's been like 5 days. It's more just like shit comes up that's relevant. Because usually the girls who are on my rotation or whatever girls I'm hooking up with, like we have more in common than just good sex. Like usually these are the girls who I get along with pretty well, and most of them are actually all of them know about playing with fire. So for example, some of them will send me like a video like, hey, I just stumbled upon this pickup channel. I think this guy kind of looks like you, or like, hey, what do you think about this dude, or like something like that. They're like, hey, you should do this for your video, and I'll just like discuss shit like that with them. Or sometimes we'll just talk about like whatever, like card shit. Because all of them live in Miami, so we'll be talking about like, oh fuck, did you hear Miami closed this down? Yeah, I know, super lame. So I'm not like actively thinking, okay, how can I re-engage this girl? It's more of just the conversation will be pretty natural for me. And I don't feel like you have to text them every day. Sometimes I go several days, without talking to girls on my rotation, and then something will pop up, and I'll be like, oh hey, by the way, I thought of you and saw this, or something like that. So it'll just be very natural, kind of like how I am with good friends, to be honest. Like I don't feel like, oh, my buddy Jeff, I gotta text him today, otherwise our friendship is gonna go down. No, it's just like kind of like when shit comes up, when we're free to hang out, then we'll hang out. When like shit that's related to or inside jokes or mutual friendship comes up, then I'll text that person that. So I think that's a good way to think about it. Like your close friend who lives in the same city as you. You're not gonna be like fucking hitting your bro up and saying like, yo, dude, are we still friends? I'm worried about losing you. So I would kind of take it from that same mindset, but more sexual. it's like your best friend that you send dick pics to. All right, so say come have a few multiple screw-ups. Me better know what you're doing. I would have the. I would probably that sounds to come have a few multiple squirting orgasms with me better than what you're doing. And I'm not a big fan of that text unless that's like an inside joke you guys have or something like that. I would just say, what are you doing tonight? And the girl is not doing anything, I'd be like, come for some wine and orgasms or something like that. Like to me, it seems a little too gamey. But I worry if I was to send text like that, how the day may go. As I'm good at sex, I would say above average, but still not sure I can give random girl multiple screaming orgasms. You ever hear of the expression "fake it till you make it"? I think that there's some truth to that. You basically fake it till you make it, man. It's okay to promise a little bit more than you can deliver while you're working on making delivery that. It's not like you fuck the girl once and that's it. You can't you're done. You can fucking eat her out for hours. She won't mind. So like it's not like you can just fucking if you don't make her come when you fuck her, just fucking eat her out for an hour or something like that and fuck her again. You get like unlimited chances while she's there. It's not like like you get that one shot. If you fail, you got that one game. If you miss the shot, you're done. It's just like, think of it as like a basketball hoop. You just keep shooting and shooting and shooting. As long as you got the basketball hoop in front of you, you just keep practicing and practicing until you get good. Some feminist is going to find this video and be like, he treats girls like basketball. All right, so you don't have to go out of your way to text your regulars. Once a girl becomes a regular, it's barely 3-4 texts. Yeah, I agree with what Nan said. Logistics for what would be so much easier once you get the bank. Okay, never worry about. Okay, so he's just answering questions. Do you adapt to the girl's reply time, or just do it when you're bothered? I adapt roughly. So, for example, if the girl is, if it's a regular, I don't even bother with that. I just text her when I see the text. If it's a regular, most of the time, unless like there's something that's going on and I want to kind of like regain the power dynamic in the interaction or something like that. That's kind of rare. With new girls who I haven't met yet, yeah, like if she's taking like always 2-3 hours to respond and I'm just on my phone, not doing shit, even though I can send a text around then, I'll kind of hold off on it for an hour before sending it. But it's not, I feel like too many guys take this as an exact science, like, oh shit, like this girl, texted me an hour and 30 minutes later, it's only been an hour and 15 minutes, I can't text her. It's just a very rough thing, like the basic premise is that if a girl is always taking several hours to reply, you don't want to be instantly texting her, because that's going to seem like, okay, like you got nothing else to do. So as long as that's not what's at play, as long as that's not what it seems, then you're all good. It's not exact, like you have to wait an exact time before you text her back. All right, so okay, since you're better off, you ever date a coworker and can same tips apply, just like meeting chicks out online as far as the approach? Ooh, that's a good question. I've never dated a coworker. I've hooked up with a few coworkers. It's something I'll only really do if I feel like the girl's into me or like I'm about to quit that job or something like that. I don't give a shit. I just generally now I have, my own thing. So all my coworkers are fucking, like Indian PE and like, my tech guy and stuff like that. So I'm definitely not going to be hooking up with any of them unless they do a really good job. Now, like when I used to have real jobs in the past, like corporate jobs, I would kind of be weary of that. Just because I didn't want to get fired, over getting late. I had so many girls everywhere else, I just didn't want to like risk it. But if the girl, if I could tell the girl was really into me, I would just be a little bit more low key about it. So I'd be like, hey, let's grab drinks after work or something like that. Like I wouldn't sex them or anything like that. Like basically, I wouldn't want to give her like, unless we fuck, after that I'd be fine. I wouldn't want to give her like any like hard thing that she could take to HR and get me fired with. Especially like 2020, you gotta be careful with that. Unless you don't really care about the job, unless it's just like a temporary job, then dude, be as fucking aggressive as you want. But if it's a job where you're going to see yourself long term and try to make a career, and you got to like err on the side of caution. I would just just drinks, something like that. Just flirt with the girl by all means. Then when you get her on a date, it's a different story. Then you guys are out, you guys have a few drinks, and then one thing leads to another. So it's very common for people to meet someone at work. Like the person that my mom is currently engaged to is someone that she met at her job. So, it's really common nowadays. Like I have a lot of, I know a lot of people who met their significant other at work, but you just got to err a little bit on the side of caution with that shit. Okay, so I'm honestly never able to talk sexually with girls. It might just be because I'm too nervous or I don't know how to start it. I've got a shit Tinder profile. I'm still getting some decent results. Well, you don't have a shit profile if you're getting decent results. Your profile is probably better than you think it is. But your question was, how do you sexualize when you're too nervous? I wrote a good article on this. It was called How to Be Yourself. And I also just recently posted an article. It's in the forums. It's How to Become More Alpha. Check those two out. The How to Be Yourself article is linked in that article. That one was about a month ago. So those two will tell you everything you need to know. I'll give you a very quick summary. You basically have to desensitize yourself to that shit. I'll give you an analogy. When I started doing sales, it felt really uncomfortable for me to like go inside someone's house and try to sell them on something that I can tell they weren't initially interested in. Like that felt very uncomfortable to me. So, the best way I got over that is by desensitizing myself to it and doing it a lot. And then like trying to sell more and more people. And eventually knocking on someone's door no longer felt, like fucking nerve-wracking to me, or not, at least not nearly as nerve-wracking. So you just got to do it, man. And ideally, you want to go one step further. So, for example, if saying something mildly sexual makes you uncomfortable, then fuck around with saying something very sexual. so that when you say something mildly sexual, you won't be as uncomfortable. I'll give you an example. So say you were really nervous to ask a girl for her number, right? Like say that's something that just makes you really nervous. If I have you spend a month going to random girls and asking them if they just want to fuck, like, hey, what's up, girl? You're hot. You want to fuck? If you do that every single day for a month, you're going to have no problems asking for a girl's phone number. So it comes down to a big part of it comes down to just desensitizing yourself to things that make you uncomfortable. And if you do it for a long period of time, you just eventually the change becomes semi-permanent. Like I no longer have I would say right now I have almost no anxiety with sexualizing, like close to zero. Whereas when I was like 21, 22, I had a lot of anxiety with that, So basically just like what happened, like, well, over time I just rewired my brain through progressive desensitization. All right, so how to talk and text to girls. Yeah, so again, I have numerous articles on this. Check out, I have go on playingfire.com under tips and guides. I have how to text girls 1, how to text girls 2, how to text girls 3. So I have numerous guides on this. So you want to just go through those. And then, after that, you still have questions, go to the forums and just make a post specifically what part of texting you're struggling with. Because, how to text girls is very general. That could be, a whole 5-hour live stream. Can you show your apartment so I can get an idea of how to set up for the close? I can't because I'm not on a laptop right now. I'm using my roommate's fucking computer because my laptop's a massive piece of shit. And so I got a webcam set up, so I can't really move this. But honestly, I don't think my apartment is that optimal I could make this place way more better. But basically, like, I got a balcony. You can't really see it. I got a balcony. I got wine. I got a couch, and that's pretty much it. It's really, I don't like really go crazy out of my way simply because I don't really need to. Like, I know that, as long as I can make the girl feel comfortable. Like, my place has been sometimes when I have girls over, my place is super messy. I remember one time I had a girl over, my kitchen was so fucking disgusting that like the girl was like, every time I look at your kitchen, I literally get turned off. I'm like, okay, let's just go in my room then. Let's just go in my room and eventually we bang. But like that's how gross my fucking kitchen was. Like there was like flies and shit, fucking the smells were permeating from like the dishes and shit. So yeah, I wouldn't say my place is really anything that special, when it comes to like, getting laid. All right. Where the fuck? This thing just keeps fucking me. Do you think that having a picture with a girl on the profile with sexual bio and mentioning an open relationship help in getting more matches? I don't think it's going to get you more matches. I think it's going to get you more DTF matches. It's going to give you a different kind of matches. So I think if you're going to do that, we'll call it the threesome profile. You should have 2 profiles, your regular profile, and then you can have your threesome profile, right? Because you're going to get different kind of girls. I know some chicks who are super DTF that will not go for the whole, threesome angle. Like that'll just be a deal breaker for them, even though they're super DTF. I know some chicks who are not even as DTF, but they're actually intrigued by the idea of like a threesome and they want to fuck a girl. So it really depends on the girl. You're casting a wider net when you're doing that. So what was the other part of your question? Yeah, so it's not going to get you more matches. It's going to give you different kinds of matches. So say, okay, let's do it this way. Say with a regular profile, this is the range of girls that you fuck. With with a threesome profile, it's like this, and there's this much of overlap. So there's going to be some girls who will match with both profiles. But there's going to be some who will only match on this profile, and some who would only match to that profile. All right, the super sexual bias still get you banned on Tinder? Yeah, I haven't tried it in ages, man. Every time I would try it would get me banned, and then I just got tired of dealing with that. Unfortunately, Tinder, like most companies, has gotten a little bit SJW. If you're not, PWF will never do that. But yeah, so I just don't fuck with it anymore. I have a bio that works for me now where I'm like somewhat sexual, but it's not explicit. A lot of girls on their profile say not here for a hookup. Is this just bullshit fun, do you think? Yeah, it's definitely 100% bullshit fun. I've hooked up with numerous girls that literally said not into hookups. If you're looking for a hookup, swipe left, blah, blah, blah. And some of these girls were like the biggest fucking sluts. And I say the word slut with love, Like these girls were just super DTF. And sometimes they would even laugh about it afterwards. I'm like, you're like not looking for a hookup on your profile. She'd be like, yeah, I know, haha. So yeah, I wouldn't pay any attention to that. When I ask women for her number, she usually gives it. If I ask if she has WhatsApp, I usually get ghosted then or the next message. Any clue why? You're mid-30s. No, I don't think it's the age of women. That's really weird. I feel like that's got to be a coincidence, but I feel like Well, okay, to be fair, I live in Miami. Miami is a very international city. So WhatsApp is more of an international thing. So vast majority of chicks who live in other countries have WhatsApp, but it's not really an American thing. So maybe if you live like in a very predominantly American city where there's really not, then you'll have, yeah, I can see that. If you live like in the Midwest or something, just a place where most girls like don't travel, haven't been out of the country and have a need to use WhatsApp. But I live in Miami where it's like every single fucking person here came from somewhere else and they're like pretty well traveled. So for me, like, most chicks here have WhatsApp. But iMessage works just as well. You can still do voice memos and all that shit. So you don't really have to do WhatsApp if you don't want to. Okay, yo, Alex, the dominant line in my bio has been getting me laid. Let's go. Thanks for now. Post screenshots in the forum. Awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear. Yeah, I definitely post the screenshots. It's always good to get some reviews. All right, so how do I break down? I don't know why fucking YouTube tried to flag this comment. How do I break down a girl that is giving me shit tests? Maybe because you used the word shit. I guess shit is a bad word. Shit. How do you break down a girl that's giving you shit tests? You don't really break her down. You pass the shit test. So I have a whole video on this. Yeah, check that video out. I mean, I think it's gonna explain it better than I can in a minute. But yeah, so you just pass the shit test. That's it. So when a girl gives you a shit test, like you can't say that. Like that's a shit test, right? So you would just focus on passing the shit test. Well, I just did. And then she's basically the concept I talked about in that video. You're owning everything. And then she's like, okay, haha. So then you pass the shit test, then you move on. You don't need to really break her down. Like, how dare you try to shit test me, you bitch? So there's really no need for that. Any advice on when girls start arguments and get angry? Best way to win? Ooh, that's a pretty relevant question. Actually, 3 weeks ago, I'm almost embarrassed of the story. I was hooking up with this super SJW chick. She was so fucking annoyed with the SJW shit, but she was hot and the sex was really good. And other than the SJW shit, we got along. And then I would always, like, whenever she'd kind of bring the shit up, I'd always just kind of like troll her and brush it aside. And then one time I was just like a little bit high and I just like thought it'd be fun to just like engage her a little bit. And then she got so fucking worked up that she just stormed out of my apartment. So I think that the lesson I've learned, I've already knew this lesson, but I guess the lesson I relearned is just there's no point in arguing. Like, unless it's a girl you're dating, that's completely different. But if it's just a random girl you're hooking up with, there's really no point in like trying to win an argument, because you win an argument, but you lose the girl sometimes. So what's the point of that? Like, I definitely, when we had that, when we had a little argument, I definitely fucking, if there was like a third person perspective, it would look like I fucking destroyed her in that argument. But what did I win in the end? A night of jerking off? Like, she stormed out of my apartment. Great. Like, what did I accomplish, really? I won an argument, but I lost the girl. So yeah, you pick your fights. There's no point in like sometimes girls will say something I super disagree with, and I'll just literally troll them. Like, I'm not gonna actually engage in that argument because I know it's not gonna lead anywhere productive. Now, if it's your girlfriend, that's a different story. Like, then you do have to get not so much win an argument. You have to make her understand where you're coming from, and so you guys are on the same page. That's a little bit different. But I think you're asking me just for general, if you're starting an argument with a girl. So my advice is, as cliche as it sounds, just avoid the argument in the first place. Okay. When she's trying to be disrespectful, would you just, and then it doesn't bother me and she knows it's just laugh, but it's starting to annoy me. All right, so I will comment on this. This is something I talked about in the product as well, is that I feel like a lot of guys, the question is, what would you do if you feel like you're being disrespectful? I feel like a lot of guys sometimes think the girl is disrespecting them when it's actually nothing personal. Like, I feel like it's very common in the community. Now, sometimes a girl will disrespect you. That you don't want to put up with that. But sometimes it's really, she's not disrespecting you. She's just whatever. She just doesn't know how to communicate better or something like that. So it's like really nothing personal. It's not she's not trying to disrespect you. It's just that you interpret it that way. So it's important to be able to differentiate between those two. But if a girl's disrespecting me, I'm not gonna put up with that. Like, I'm not gonna yell at her. I'm not gonna get mad. I feel like that's all very beta behavior. I'd be like, what did you say? And then she'll be like, oh, you're an asshole. I'd be like, okay, well, I don't really appreciate you saying that, so I'd like for you to leave. Like, just be polite, but yeah, I'm not gonna put up with that shit. Fuck that. But again, it's important to understand where if the girl's actually disrespecting you, which is, I feel like the majority of the time, the guy thinks the girl is disrespecting him, but in reality, she's not. I've just seen this example like this play out countless times. All right. Well, I don't know why this YouTube is fucking flagging them random as shit. They just flagged. Once this shit ends, do you have plans to hit Latin America? Like, why is that a bad comment? But yeah, so I do. Yeah, I'll probably go to Colombia in the fall. I'm actually planning. I guess why not? I'll fucking announce it. I'm planning, and it's all in the very early stages, doing a Playing with Fire summit. Again, this is all in the very much early phase. I don't have a date or anything like that. The 2 places I'm looking at, 3 places: Europe, Latin America, or just America. And personally, I want to do it in Latin America for a variety of reasons, but everyone wants me to do it in America or Europe. So we'll see. But yeah, so definitely that would be like in the fall. So yeah, I would definitely go for that. Obviously, if I'm doing summit, I'll have to be there. All right, so. Okay, where we go. Is there a good way to put a girl on the back burner if she's too worried me do Corona for rents from New York? Oh, New York shit. I don't. To be fair, just this whole thing is something you haven't really, really thoroughly experimented with this, but you would just basically. I think the best way is maybe text her once a week or once every 2 weeks, just something super vague, like just like a meme or just like a value offering text, or like, how's the quarantine life treating you? She'll be like, good. Haha. How about you? He'll be like, good. Been getting so much work done or something. Good. Or good. Been working out a lot. Getting super jacked for eventual day, something like that. Like, you don't want to spend your day just constantly texting her just to theoretically keep her warm for 2 to 5 months from now. So again, this would be something I would put on the back burner. Once in a blue moon, I would just re-engage. But honestly, sometimes I've gotten lazy because I have so many, I have like a good amount of leads going. So sometimes I'll just hit up a girl. Like, okay, I'll give you guys an example. This one chick, matched with her on Bumble. We had a good exchange. And then she was like, hey, can you hang out tonight? I'm like, no, I'm busy. I'm free tomorrow. She's like, it's not going to work. I'm traveling on a business trip for like a month and a half. I was like, oh shit. I was like, all right, shoot me your number. I'll text you then. And then I saved her as her name and then the day which she returns. And then I literally hit her up like the day after she got back. Hey, make it back to Miami. She's like, holy shit, you fucking remember. I'm like, yeah. We should celebrate. She's like, haha, wow, okay. And she was so impressed that I just like hit her up 2 months from now that I could remember. And she's like, wow, like no guy ever does that. I'm like, yeah, I just saved you my phone as like, whatever the date that you return, and just remembered, to hit you up. I'm like, I'm very organized when it comes to getting laid. So yeah, like I didn't spend, the point of that story is I didn't spend, a month and a half, like constantly texting her back and forth. Would it have been a better game if I did? Yeah, probably, but you don't always need to. All right, so what's your body count, dude? I have no idea. I don't count. Body count sounds like I'm killing people. I'm probably between 300 and 500. I cannot imagine it'd be more than 500. That would just be so many girls. Like, I'm only 30 years old, I didn't really start getting laid until I was like 23, 24, like consistently. So yeah. Okay, what do we have next? Yeah, I've been online game for years. For my matches dropped big from what I remember. Is it because of the corona? What do you think? Yeah, it's definitely because of the corona. Also, well, actually no, because I'm still getting a good amount of matches. Probably. Okay. Very, very. I'm going to try to give a very quick answer to a long question. The Tinder used to be easier like 4 or 5 years ago. So the competition on Tinder has gotten harsher. So if you were using Tinder 3 years ago and you're using the same exact profile now, well, while your profile is the same, the competition has gotten a little bit better. So now instead of being in the top, the top 10 percentile, in the top 50 percentile. So that's kind of probably what happened. So personally, like I'm always improving my profile so I can stay ahead, ahead of the competition. So I can stay in like the top 1%, the top 5%, whatever. How long do you wait text after getting the number to set up the meetup? I'm assuming you're talking about cold approach. I'll literally text her like my name like 10 minutes later or something like that. Like I don't like to do it when she's within eyesight because that can come off a little creepy. Yeah, like as soon as we part ways, I'll text her my name like right away, because then if you wait like a day, she might forget who you are. And then I'll try to do pretty fast over text. Like there's also a big part of it depends on how the conversation flows. Like if the girl's super into me, I'll take advantage of it and set up a date that, set up a date that night for another night. But if it's like there's some resistance, I'm not going to push it. I'll kind of build it up over time. So it just really depends on the context. Are you planning to make more videos for the mastermind? Yeah, definitely. I try to make, I try to make, save the best stuff, like keep some stuff members only. So I'm sure you've seen that with all the content updates. We're actually planning on making a post tomorrow or Tuesday, asking you guys what kind of content updates you want to see of. But just let me know in the mastermind, what kind of content you want to see of. I'm always trying to be very accommodating to members. So if there's something that you want to see and other people want to see it, like I'll go out of my way and I'll make that video or whatever it is that you guys need. So yeah, just let me know, man. Sometimes I don't really. I try to stay up very up to date on what is it that you guys are specifically struggling with, but sometimes I miss stuff. So just keep me updated on what exactly you want to see more of. Okay. No waiting time. Do you guys with Android suffer more in texting game than you guys with? Do you guys with? I think the question is it hard to get laid if you have an Android? No, I don't think so. I think iMessage is cool, but I had an Android for a long period of my life. Yeah, I know other people have Androids who are fucking crushing it. So no, I don't think that you need to get an iPhone to get laid. Do you use Snapchat? I do not. I think Snapchat is a massive waste of time. I personally experimented with it for a solid 3-4 months about 2 years ago, and I found it to be a giant waste of time. I find that the girls who will not give you their number but only give their Snapchat, vast majority of time are just going to flake for some random reason anyway. There were a few examples of girls who would insist on giving me their Snapchat, and I ultimately met up with them. But honestly, after 3 months, I kind of evaluated, and I was like, holy shit, this is such a fucking massive, I'm putting in all this work to get an extra 1%, more results. So it's I was like, no way. So I deleted that shit. Okay, so I think we're getting pretty caught up on the questions. Yeah, we're gonna go for another 10 minutes because I'm starting to lose my voice. We've gone for over an hour, and then we'll probably do another one of these things. So, what are the best texting role plays, narratives, or texts you can give a couple examples? Oh man, best texting role plays. That's the question. I don't do too many role plays, to be honest. I sometimes do the one that I do is the honeymoon one. So I'll say the girl will be yeah, I just got or whatever. I really wanted to travel. If we're talking about travel, and she'll say yeah, I've always wanted to go to whatever, blah blah blah. I'll be like, cool, we'll hit it up for our honeymoon. And she'd be like, our honeymoon, huh? I'll be like, yes, I'll get us the extra kinky suite or something like that, or I'll get us the suite with the sex swing that you've been asking for, something like that. And then that's a really good way to segue into something sexual. That's one that comes off the top of my head. But honestly, I don't do too many role plays. I like to fuck around. I like to be sarcastic, crack jokes and shit like that. But I don't do deep role plays. I know that's something that's more of Indian P's specialty. So this is something that he does a lot more than me. So he would be a better person to ask that question. All right, so what's up, guys? What do you do when I get them just for meet up with the girl? So Samuel, we just answered that. Just when I end this video, just rewatch it. I answered that thoroughly. I also have a whole video on how to get laid during the coronavirus time. So check that out. What is the best city in the U.S. for Tinder and Bumble? Ooh, I haven't been to nearly enough cities to truly answer that question, but from everything I've heard from numerous people, believe it or not, Pittsburgh is apparently amazing for online game and game in general. I don't know why. I've never actually fucking been to that city. But yeah, I've talked to numerous people, and some of them are guys who really know it, all skill levels too. Some guys who are beginners and some guys who are very much advanced and other coaches. And the verdict is unanimous. Pittsburgh is fucking awesome for game. I think it's probably because if I had to haphazard, yes, I would say it's because all the guys who have value just bounce the fuck out of that city and they move somewhere like Miami or LA or New York. And so, but the girls generally don't move as much as men because girls are more closer to their family. So, for example, girls are less likely to move to a new city and start a new life than the man is. So, what you end up with all the high value guys leave and all the girls stay. That would be my guess, but I don't know why. But I've heard from numerous people that Pittsburgh is fucking insane. All right, so you're the most underrated dating YouTuber. I think you need a manager to market your videos. You deserve 50K. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Working on it. I think we'll get there soon. I think it's gonna be one of those things, and then fucking some newspaper or something like that is gonna be fucking massive privilege teaches guys how to fuck girls during coronavirus, and then whatever, and then the channel will blow up. So waiting on that. Some other PUAs gurus lie in their profile. Generally, I'm not a big fan of lying, but I have nothing against like exaggerating or something like that. So like if you've been to like a few countries, like you've been to like 5 countries, I see nothing wrong with saying like world traveler of 20 countries. I see that as an exaggeration rather than outright lie. Also, I think it comes down to what you're lying about. Like for example, I would never lie to someone who I'm close with about something that matters. Like for example, like something like money or like, like whatever, like, a person, like their relationship or something like that. That's a lie I would never do. But I see nothing wrong with like white lies, where the lie is not really going to hurt anyone. So you're just saying that because it's the way to go. Like I'll give you guys an example. My dad is like super fucking OCD about certain things. So he'll just ask me the same question over and over and over again about something that's really consequential. And I'll just be like, yeah, dad, don't worry. I already took care of it. Even though I know something doesn't affect his life at all, it doesn't affect my life. It's just easier for me to just say yes than spend, like 3 hours arguing with him and potentially ruin our relationship. So I see nothing wrong with like white lies, but I wouldn't lie about anything that matters. How do you keep the quality of crisp pics taken on the DSLR camera from dropping when you upload them onto Tinder? Yeah, what Nitin said, you just try to increase on Photoshop. All right, guys, I think that kind of wraps up this live Q&A. Let me know if you guys in the comments, let me know if you guys enjoyed this. If you want to do more of these, we can do one. I'll try to do one like once every 2 weeks or maybe even once a week now that we got, the Corona days. Everyone's stuck at home. So, yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. Also, definitely let me know what kind of content you guys want to see more of. So, for example, last 10 videos that I put out, at least 5 of them were based on feedback that, one of you guys gave me, right? So I was like, yo, dude, you should try this or you should do that. If you've noticed, I'm pretty responsive to that kind of stuff. So definitely let me know in the comments or, on the forums exactly, what kind of content you guys want to see more of. So this way I can make content that, helps you guys and not just, satisfies my fucking need for validation. Also, make sure you guys hit up the forums, forums.playingfire.com. I'm on there every single day, literally answering people's questions. Sometimes it's almost annoying, the kind of questions that I do wind up answering, but I do it anyway because, this is my shit. It's my hustle. So I'm going to do it. So yeah, so check out the forums. And of course, one last thing, make sure you hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. I'm this fucking close to 5,000 subscribers. So if you guys can all just hit that little button, help me get there. I can sleep well tonight. It'll be a good thing. All right, guys, thank you for joining in. Let me see if there's any, what's going on. I want to be my quarantine and chill. I think there's no better question than to end this on. Antonio, if you play some of that dope DJ music for me, then I will absolutely be your quarantine and chill. All right, guys, thanks again for joining. I'll talk to you guys next time.